Hi friends, in the last videos we covered very clearly about nested try except finally blocks. What is the use with the program, with the example I covered, sir. Sir, now the next thing what I have to discuss, control flow in nested try except finally. So if an exception rises inside outer try block, what will happen? Inside inner try block, what will happen? Inside inner except block, what will happen? Like almost around 14 cases we are going to discuss with a good example. All your doubts related to control flow of this exception handling will be resolved, sir. Okay, let me consider. Have a look once at this code, sir. Okay, here I am taking, observe a bit very carefully. Here try block I am taking. So statement 1, okay, statement 2, statement 3, try block. So within the try block 1, 2, 3 statements are there. Next here within the try, inner try I am taking. Inside inner try, statement 4, statement 5, statement 6 I am taking. Statement 4, 5, 6 like this I am taking, sir. Now except x. Now observe. So x means so zero division error or something like so this except block where I am taking inside a try. Now sir, statement 7. Sir, this is inner try block, inner except block. Next finally, okay, sir, statement 8 I am taking. So try except finally completed, sir. Next after that statement 9 I am taking. Take very special care. Where I am taking statement 9? So within the outer try, outside of this inner try except finally. Sir, this is statement 9 nowhere related to finally block. Observe carefully. So now outer try completed. Now here I am taking except some y like this I am taking. Except y. Now statement 10 I am taking. Next finally block statement 11 I am taking. Finally block statement 11. Next after that, okay, here sir, statement 12 like this I am taking, sir. That's all. Okay, total how many statements are there? 12 statements are there. Okay, now I will explain multiple cases related to these 12 statements. So before continue listening of this video, what you have to take, better to write all these things on the paper. Whenever I am explaining, can you please trace whether these things are correct or not. So from your side, more concentration must be required, then only you people can feel more comfortable. Better to take sir, these things on the paper, okay, and then each and every case you have to trace manually, then definitely you people are going to get. Okay, please take this one, take up to this. Sir, now let me explain 14 cases to get much perfection in this control flow. Sir, observe very carefully, sir. First one, if there is no exception, sir, if there is no exception, so which statements will be executed? Very important, sir. Sir, if there is no exception, except the block won't be executed. Correct, right? Okay, now observe very carefully. So 1, 2, 3 will be executed. 4, 5, 6 will be executed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this except the block won't be executed. Now finally will execute. Okay, next sir, after finally this one is going to execute. Now this outer except block won't be executed. Now finally will execute, under statement 12 will execute. Observe very carefully, sir. So if there is no exception, only except blocks won't be executed, except that all the remaining statements will be executed, sir. Means that, sir, 1, 2, 3, statement 1, 2, 3 will execute, comma, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sir, next 7 won't execute because it is except block. Okay, but finally will execute, sir. 8 will execute. After finally independent statement 9 will execute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Next 10 won't execute because it is except block 11 comma 12. 11 comma 12 normal termination. Observe very carefully, sir. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This except block won't execute. Next, this except block won't execute. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12 normal termination. Any doubt about this one? Clear for all of you, right? Sir, case 1, if there is no exception except block, all the remaining lines will be executed. Okay, like now second one, sir. Observe very carefully about this case 2. Sir, if an exception raised yet a statement 2 and the corresponding except block matched. So if an exception raised yet a statement 2 and the corresponding except block matched means that if an exception raised yet a statement 2, sir, means here, sir, here there is a problem. So here there is a problem is coming. If an exception raised yet a statement 2 and the corresponding except block matched, sir, which is the corresponding except block? This is the outer except block. It is nowhere related to inner except block. Okay, so now if the problem, if an exception raised at statement 2 and the corresponding, sir, except block matched means yes, it is matched. Now observe, so 1 will be executed, 1 will be executed. While executing to the problem came, immediately the control will comes to this except block. So except block matched, that's why, sir, this except block 10 will execute, and then finally, okay, after that statement 12 normal termination. Remember, so if an exception raised at statement 2 and the corresponding except block matched 1, sir, 2 there is a problem, immediately the control will comes to this except block, 10 will execute, 11, 12 normal termination, 1, 10, 11, 12 normal termination. Sir, case 2 is very clear for you. Now observe carefully case 3. If an exception raised yet a statement 2, sir, at the same statement if an exception raised and the corresponding except block not matched, and the corresponding except block not matched, what will happen? So now observe, if an exception raised yet a statement 2, sir, now 1 will be executed. If there is a problem at 2, immediately, sir, Python virtual machine will go for corresponding except block. Sir, except block not matched. If except block not matched, it is always abnormal termination. But before abnormal termination, only finally block will be executed. So 1, 11, only finally block followed by abnormal termination. Is it clear, right? So if an exception raised at statement 2 and the corresponding except block not matched, 1, 11, 1 followed by 11, only finally block and abnormal termination. Any doubt about this one? Clear, right? Okay, next. Sir, next case, if an exception raised yet a statement 5. Oh, an exception raised at statement 5 and the inner except block matched. Inner except block matched. Now, which is the statement 5? Now take very special care, sir. Sir, which is the statement 5? Here is the statement 5. Inner try block. Statement 5 where it is available? Inside inner try block. Now, so if an exception raised yet a statement 5 and the inner except block matched, what is the flow? Now observe very carefully, sir. So to reach statement 5, compulsory 1, 2, 3, 4 will be executed. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 executed. While executing 5, there is a problem. Immediately the control will comes to except block. Immediately the control will comes to except block. Sir, except block matched. Now raised, exception raised, handled 7, 8, 9. So this exception is already handled. Outer except block is not going to execute. 11, 12 normal termination. So observe very carefully. 1, 2, 3, 4. While executing 5, there is a problem. Immediately the control will comes to except block 7, and then finally 8. And after that, normal statement will be continued. 9, okay. And then this except block is not going to execute. 11 followed by 12. 11, 12 normal termination. Remember this one, sir. So if an exception rises at statement 5 and the inner except block matched, what is the flow? 1, 2, 3, 4. Next 7, 8, 9, 11, 12 normal termination is going to get in the chance. Okay, well, this is the case 4. Next case, sir. If an exception rises at a statement 5. If an exception rises at a statement 5 and the inner except block not matched. Inner except block not matched. Oh, sir, inner except block not matched, but outer except block matched. Outer except block matched. Observe very carefully, sir. Inner except block not matched, but outer except block matched. What is the flow? Now observe very, very carefully. Sir, an exception got raised at statement 5. Inner except block not matched, but outer except block matched. So if inner except block unable to handle, don't worry, outer except block is going to take care. Sir, now here how the control will reach the statement 5? 1, 2, 3, 4 will be executed. 1, 2, 3, 4 will be executed. While executing 5, the problem, first priority will goes to inner except block. If the inner except block not matched, immediately the control should go to outer except block. Remember, immediately the control will goes to outer except block. But before going to the outer except block, only finally will be executed. Remember, only finally will be executed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. And then outer except block. Sir, outer except block matched 10, 11, 12 normal termination. 10, 11, 12 normal termination. That's all. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, here the problem came. First priority inner except block. Inner except block not matched. Then the control should go to outer except block. But before going to the outer except block, sir, only finally will execute. And then 10, 11, 12 normal termination. Any doubt about this one? Clear, right? Okay, well. Sir, next, if an exception raised at a statement 5. Sir, same. Next case. If an exception rises at a statement 5 and both the inner and outer except blocks are not matched. Inner except block not matched, outer except block not matched. What is the thing? Sir, no except block matched. Obviously, it is always abnormal termination. But before abnormal termination, finally blocks will be executed. Okay, you know. Now observe. If an exception rises at statement 5, okay, so inner except block, outer except block, both are not matched. What is the flow? So how the control will reach statement 5? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Next, here the problem came. Here the problem came. So 1, 2, 3, 4 will be executed normally. 1, 2, 3, 4 will execute normally. Now while executing 5, the problem came. Immediately inner except block not matched. If inner except block not matched, Python virtual machine will go for outer except block. But before going to the outer except block, only finally will execute. 8 will execute. Only 8. Only finally. And then outer except not matched. Not matched. Abnormal termination. But before abnormal termination, only finally. That's why 11 and then abnormal termination. Are you getting? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 11 abnormal termination is going to be happen. Are you in the position to understand, right? So up to these 6 cases, so every case better to analyze so that you people can get much clarity. Any doubt up to this? Sir, now observe the next set of cases, right? If an exception rises at a statement 7, if an exception rises at statement 7 and the corresponding except block matched. Okay, if an exception rises at statement 7 and the corresponding except block matched. Now observe very carefully, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 means inner except block. Take very, very special care. Where inner except block is the statement 7. So if an exception rises at a statement 7 and the corresponding except block matched, which is the corresponding except block? The corresponding except block is outer except block only. Remember this one, sir. So this is the part of outer try. Now outer except block is the responsible. Sir, now the problem here is how the control will comes to statement 7. Statement 7. So compulsory this 1, 2, 3 should be executed. 1, 2, 3 should be executed. And then maybe the problem at 4 or 5 or 6, somewhere the problem came. Because of that, the control came to this statement 7. So 4, 5, 6 may or may not execute. That's why 4 may or may not, 5 may or may not, 6 may or may not. Okay, maybe the problem at 4 or 5 or 6, there is a problem. Now the control will comes to this except block. Okay, sir, while executing 7, there is a problem. Now the control should goes to outer except block. But before going to the outer except block, compulsory finally block will be executed. That's why, sir, 8 will execute only finally. Only finally will execute. 8 will execute. After that, now the control will comes to outer except block. Outer except block matched or not? Yes, matched. 10, 11, 12 normal termination. So 10, 11, 12 normal termination. Remember this very carefully, sir. So what is the flow? 1, 2, 3. Sir, 4, 5, 6 may or may not. Sir, next while executing 7 the problem came. Now finally block 8 and then outer except block. Outer finally remaining statements normal termination. Now observe very carefully, sir. If an exception rises at statement 7 and the corresponding except block matched. So 1, 2, 3 compulsory should execute. Maybe the problem at 4 or 5 or 6. Maybe the problem at 4 or 5 or 6. Now the control came to except block. So here, while executing statement 7, if an exception rises, immediately the control should go to outer except block. Before that, sir, finally block compulsory should execute. And then outer except block, outer finally block, sir, statement 12, normal termination. Any doubt about this one? Clear, right? Okay, well. Now next case, sir. Observe. Sir, if an exception rises at a statement 7, sir, same statement 7, and corresponding except block not matched. And corresponding except block not matched. Sir, if an exception rises at statement 7, but corresponding except block not matched, what will happen? Now observe. Sir, how the control will come to statement 7? Just now I explained. Sir, first 1, 2, 3 should be executed compulsory. And then while executing 4, 5, 6 may be a problem. While executing 4, 5, 6 may be a problem. So if there is a problem, so 4, 5, 6 no guarantee. Sir, 4, 5, 6 no guarantee. Okay. Now there is a problem. That's why the control came to 7. But while executing 7, so there is an exception. So immediately Python virtual machine will go for, sir, the corresponding except block. But before except block, compulsory finally will be executed. Finally block will execute. Now the control came to except block. But this except block not matched. Not matched. If it is not matched, abnormal termination. But before abnormal termination, finally will execute. That's why 11 abnormal termination. Are you getting? 11 only finally block and then abnormal termination. So if an exception rises at statement 7, so if the corresponding except block not matched, abnormal termination. But before abnormal termination, inner finally block, outer finally block, both will be executed. Any doubt? Clear for all of you, right? Okay, well. Sir, now the next one. If an exception rises at statement 8. If an exception rises at statement 8 and the corresponding except block matched. Sir, which is the statement 8, which is the corresponding except block? Now observe. Sir, statement 8 means, do you know statement 8 means finally block. Oh, inside inner finally block if an exception rises. What is the flow now? Now observe. So how the control will comes to statement 8 first? Sir, 1, 2, 3 compulsory should be executed. 1, 2, 3 should be executed. Next, Sir, 4, 5, 6, assume there is no exception. Now the control 4, 5, 6 and then 8. Okay, 4, 5, 6 will execute and then 8 if there is no exception. If there is an exception, 4, 5, 6, there is an exception here, then sir except block and then statement 8. Means 4, 5, 6, if maybe an exception, may not an exception. So now statement 8 will come. So that's why 4, 5, 6 are optional. Next, statement 7 is also optional. Okay, because the reason is if there is no exception, statement 7 won't execute. So 4, 5, 6, 7 may or may not execute. Now the control came to statement 8. While executing statement 8, if the problem came, immediately sir Python virtual machine will go to corresponding except block. Except block matched. Now 10, 11, 12 normal termination. 10, 11, 12 normal termination. Remember this one. Are you getting right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 may or may not, 7 may or may not. Now the control came to 8. Sir, while executing 8, the problem came. Immediately the corresponding except block matched. So 10, 11, 12 normal termination. Have you observed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 may or may not, 10, 11, 12 normal termination. Any doubt? Clear, right? Next, observe the next case. Sir, case 10. If an exception raised at statement 8. Sir, same. If an exception raised at statement 8 and the corresponding except block not matched. And the corresponding except block not matched, what will happen? Now observe, if an exception raised at statement 8. So how the control will comes to statement 8? Just now I explained. 1, 2, 3 should be compulsory. 4, 5, 6, 7 may or may not. 4, 5, 6, 7 may or may not. Next, while executing 8, the problem came. Immediately, Python virtual machine will go for corresponding except block. But this except block not matched. If it is not matched, it is always abnormal termination. But before abnormal termination, this finally block will be executed. Only finally, this finally block will be executed. 11 followed by abnormal termination. Are you in the position to understand, right? So if an exception raised at statement 8 and the corresponding except block not matched, it is abnormal termination. But before abnormal termination, only finally block will be executed. Any doubt? Clear up to this? Sir, now the next set of cases, observe carefully. If an exception raised at statement 9, and the corresponding except block matched. Observe very carefully. If an exception raised at statement 9 and the corresponding except block matched. Now observe, statement 9 means these statements are which is the outside of finally block. Okay, outside of this inner except finally block. This is. Sir, how the control will comes to statement 9 is the very important. Sir, observe 1, 2, 3 should compulsory should execute. 1, 2, 3 should be executed compulsory. Next, 4, 5, 6 may or may not. The reason is if there is no exception, 4, 5, 6 and then 8 and then 9. Okay, no exception. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. If there is an exception, 4, 5, 6 may be the problem, then 7 and then 8 and then 9. So 4, 5, 6 may or may not. Okay, 4, 5, 6 may or may not. 7 may or may not. 7 may or may not. Next, finally, compulsory this one should be executed. If there is a problem at statement 8, the control never comes to 9. But still the control came to 9 means statement 8 executed successfully. Now observe, statement 8 executed successfully. Now the problem is at a 9. If there is a problem at 9, immediately, so Python virtual machine will check for the corresponding except block. Sir, matched, if except block matched, 10, 11, 12 normal termination. 10, 11, 12 normal termination. Okay, like now observe, if an exception raised at a statement 9 and the corresponding except block matched. This is my statement. Now what is the flow? Is it clear for all of you, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 may or may not. 8 compulsory will execute. And then while 9 there is a problem, except block 10, 11, 12 normal termination. Okay, well. Now the next case observe. If an exception raised at a statement 9, sir, same statement. If an exception raised at statement 9 and corresponding except block not matched. Remember, corresponding except block not matched, sir, what will happen? So how the control will come to statement 9? Just now I told 1, 2, 3 should be executed. 1, 2, 3 should be executed. Next 4, 5, 6, 7 may or may not. 4, okay, 5, 6, 7 may or may not, because with exception, without exception, anyway the control will come to 9. That's why 4, 5, 6, 7 may or may not. But to reach statement 9, compulsory statement 8 should be executed. Statement 8 executed. Now statement 9, there is a problem. Immediately Python virtual machine will check for except block, but this except block not matched. If the except block not matched, it is always abnormal termination. But before abnormal termination, finally block will be executed. That's why 8, 11 abnormal termination. So have you observed? If an exception raised at statement 9, so under corresponding except block not matched, abnormal termination. Before abnormal termination, yes, finally blocks executed. 8 inner finally, 11 outer finally. Any doubt about this one? Okay, that's all. Sir, now next case. If an exception raised at a statement 10, remember, if an exception raised at a statement 10, oh, inside outer except block. Okay, if an exception raised inside, sir, outer except block, so it is always abnormal termination. Have you remembered in the last videos we covered, if any statement raising an exception which is not part of try block, yes, it is not part of try block. If it is not part of try block, no except block. No except block means abnormal termination. So if an exception raised at a statement 10, it is always abnormal termination. But before abnormal termination, compulsory this finally block will be executed. Now observe, if an exception raised at statement 10, then it is always abnormal termination. But before abnormal termination, only finally block will be executed. Only finally block will be executed. Are you getting? Only finally block will be executed. Any doubt about this one? Sir, observe carefully. So if an exception raised at statement 10, it is not part of try block. If it is not part of try block, then there is no except block. There is no except block means it is always abnormal termination. But before that, this finally block will be executed, statement 11. But how you can reach the control to the statement 10? Oh, multiple options are there, man. So here may be the problem, or here may be the problem. Some way the control came to except block. While executing this statement 10, if an exception rises, abnormal termination. But before that, finally block will be executed. Clear, right? Sir, next last case, 14th case, observe. If an exception raised at a statement 11, okay, sir, if an exception raised at a statement 11, so outer finally block, so it is abnormal termination. Why it is not part of try? If it is not part of try, no except block. No except block means abnormal termination. If an exception rises at statement 11, it is always abnormal termination. If an exception rises at a statement 12, it is always abnormal termination, because it is not part of try block, there is no except block, obviously abnormal termination. So if an exception raised at a statement 11 or statement 12 or statement 12, then it is always abnormal termination. Okay, remember, then it's always abnormal termination. Any doubt about this one? So that's all. These are various important cases what you people should aware very clearly, sir. Okay, almost 14 cases we discussed. So now from any line randomly you can choose any line, sir. Here line number 6, if an exception rises, what is the flow? If you handle, what is the flow? If you are not handle, what is the flow? You should aware. Sir, statement 10, if an exception rises, what will happen? Statement 5, if an exception rises, what will happen? Statement 1, if an exception rises, what will happen? From 1 to 12, any statement, if an exception rises, handle, not handle, what is the flow? Compulsory you people should aware. Are you in the position to understand, right? Sir, if you are writing this type of code, then it's always a good programming practice, because the reason is everywhere you define some alternative handling blocks, everywhere you define alternative handling blocks, so your program always safe to execute, sir. Sir, very simple. Suppose you require to come to Maitrivanam. Assume that you are going to Maitrivanam, some place to here Maitrivanam you are. So in the main road, if there is a problem, then immediately corresponding except block, okay, alternative. Here also there is a problem, then immediately there is another except block, okay. Here also there is a problem, assume here also there is a problem, then no except block. So what you did is, what you can do, so finally block will execute, inside finally block I can convey, so I am stuck somewhere, don't worry, so maybe after few minutes I will reach the destination. Like you can intimate to the person, okay, to the target person, or otherwise to the source person by phone call. Are you getting? So this type of coding is always good programming practice, defining alternatives at runtime. Your program is always going to execute very smoothly, sir. So now how many cases we discussed? 14 cases we discussed. Each and every case I clearly documented in our material also. Please go through the material, better to analyze, then definitely you people are going to get much clarity. Can you please explain control flow in nested try except finally? If interview person is asking, give left and right, explain these 14 cases, definitely interview person can feel very happy, very comfortable. Any doubt about this one? Clear, right?